Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to join the chorus of persons who have decided that they would wish you well. I absolutely do. And we have had a relationship that has been very beneficial to both of us. And I think that if we can stay in touch with each other, we can continue to have a beneficial relationship. And I wish your family well as you traverse yourself into a new station in life.
Thank you.
I thought we should have given you a standing ovation, but I suppose what we did was okay. Thank you. Friends, I have a concern that has been called to my attention in many different ways. The concern emanates today from some intelligence shared by the staff. We have a great staff here. Here's what the staff has called to my attention, that last year, Goldman Sachs estimated that roughly 2/3 of current jobs are exposed to some degree of AI automation, and that generative AI could substitute up to 1/4 of the current work. My concern is this: what will the impact of generative AI be on job security as we advance? And I support the notion that we will advance, but how will it impact people who are working and are sincerely concerned about what will happen to them? The consternation that's developing is something that we have to allay. So let me start with you, Mr. Ward, and we'll proceed to your right, and then we'll return to the very last person on the end. Mr. Ward, if you would, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the question, Congressman. The analogy I use is when the calculator first came out, everybody who did math thought their jobs would go away. Everybody that knew how to use an abacus was terrified of the calculator. And in reality, what happened, of course, was people had to learn the calculator, but it created more jobs, not less.
Well, excuse me, let me just intercede. I remember I was in engineering, and we used something called a slide rule. You might remember that. Well, it has gone away, but the jobs associated with producing slide rules has gone away too. They've gone away. So I don't know that that's a good comparison for me because somebody had to make that product that we were using that we no longer use. But continue.
Yes, Mr. Green, but I would counter that with, but then we employed so many more people to create calculators. And that trade-off is a trade-off, that we should have taken. And I think that's true of, if you look at every major technological advance, for the last 200 years since the Industrial Revolution, jobs did not disappear, jobs just changed. And all technology has created more jobs, not less. I think that will be true of AI.
Oh, yeah. Well, perhaps I can avoid having everyone give a verbal response. If you agree with Mr. Ward, would you kindly extend a hand into the air? Saving one, all right. Let's have the one person that has an opinion.
Sure.
My eyes don't serve me well. I can't read your last name from here.
Butler, thank you, and thank you for the question, Congressman Green. And I don't, say I fundamentally disagree with everything Mr. Ward said, certainly, but I think I'll add that I think your concerns about the impact of automation on the labor and workforce are significant and real. And I think that as we see and track the adoption of automation and AI systems, we do need to be measuring and thinking about the impact on the current workforce. I think that that is one of the many real immediate impacts of these systems that we need to be considering and evaluating when we consider whether they're right to adopt, the other being of whether we're replacing good labor with bad output, which I think is true in many contexts, whether you're actually getting as much out of an automated system as you're getting out of human labor. And luckily, I think there's some policy interventions already to bring those type of evaluation into the analysis before we roll out these tools, but I think it's important.
Mr. Chair, my time has expired, but as a courtesy to a friend, would you allow me one additional question?
Well, I've been so soft today. If you've been here all morning, you would have just kept going.
You were classmates.
But thank you. Go right ahead, Mr. Gray.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Bias. I read a lot about how bias in will generate bias out. How do we deal with the possibility of generative AI that amasses opinions from a lot of information? And if there's a bias in the information, then we'll get a bias in the product, work product. So how do we deal with that? Who'd like to be first? And be brief, please, because I want to maintain my good friendship.
I can just jump in and say, this is from my eighth grader actually did research around this, and I learned a lot from that myself. And I think that the importance of bias in the system is that we need to look at the outcomes that we want to see, meaning that we have systems that are not biased, that we have data sets, that we have LLMs that are focusing on all data instead of just a small amount of data. And I think that is where policy can come in to support, because we have to be able to set that standard that we're not going to have LLMs and other data sets that are going to bring that bias to work. We see this happening already, and we need to be able to stop that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. God bless you.
And God bless you, Mr. Green. And now we'll go